The main reason that we decided to do StarCraft 2 as a trilogy rather than kind of the way we've done previous games where we include all 3 campaigns is really the size and the scope of the story that we wanted to tell. You know, we learned pretty early on that if we really want to have a really interesting branching story and have all these different characters and all these different resources to tell the story when we wanted to, it ended up being an entire game just to tell one campaign story. And then we really got faced with that hard decision of, okay, well, what are we going to do? Do we go back to kind of the Warcraft 3 approach so that we can include all 3 campaigns, or do we go ahead and just treat each race as its own product? It's kind of the go big or go home option for us, and we decided, you know what, let's do something different. You know, let's kind of go out there and do something a little more risky, and let's see if that's something that players really respond to. And I think if you saw the response today, people are really excited about it. So each of the games in the trilogy will be very similar in that he'll be following a singular main character. You know, it kind of has an ensemble of characters around them. So in the within the Terran campaign, you're going to be kind of playing as Jim Raynor. Within the Zerg campaign, you'll be playing as actually Kerrigan the Queen of Blades. In the Protoss campaign, we're still debating a little bit, but again, you'll kind of be playing as a solo character. Tychus Finley is a new character for the StarCraft universe. He's a space marine that actually used to know Jim Raynor back in the day, back when they were kind of in the army together, and they kind of weren't always the best of guys back then, and they kind of have a sordid history with one another, so that will be playing out quite a bit with StarCraft 2. The StarCraft 2 storyline is an epic space opera. You know, there are definitely major story points that everyone's going to hit, which is very similar, I think, to a lot of role-playing game sort of approaches out there. Kind of the typical role-playing game has a very similar beginning for all players and usually has a pretty set ending. It's really kind of up to you and how you kind of progress through the story, but it's still going to end the same way. So the main reason not to offer multiple endings is really because we want players to see what happens in the story, and being that it's a trilogy, if we had, let's say, different ways that the Terran campaign could end, then how would that feed into the Zerg campaign? We'd suddenly end up with all these different permutations, and people wouldn't really know what happened to these characters. So one of the things that comes out of the decision to ship as a trilogy is that really only affects the single-player campaign. The multiplayer will still be fully featured with all 3 races, so there's not going to be any sort of emphasis on the Terrans and multiplayer as opposed to the Zerg and the Protoss. All 3 races will be fully featured, similar number of units, equal amount of production behind all of them. It's only the single player that's affected by the trilogy decision. My name is Rob Pardo. I'm the Executive Vice President at Blizzard Entertainment, and I'm here at BlizzCon talking to you guys about StarCraft 2. And I look forward to all of you getting to play it when it's finally ready.